Okay, Team Bean. All right, Team Bean. So plumbers, innovators, Team Bean. Oh, we have one more team, right? Team 4. What is your team name? The Conquerors. All right, nice, nice. All right. So all of these are good. All right, good names. So you can use these names, okay, in this class, or in the simulations, you will have a chance to have your company name, okay? Your company name. We talked about that, right? In your simulations, you will have a chance to run a company, all right, in 8 years. Okay? So you will have a chance to make your company name again, okay? So you can use this team name, or you can use, the different name, new names, whatever you want, okay? All right, so team names, good. And actually, I record this class, okay? And then I publish all the recordings on my YouTube channels, okay? On my YouTube channels. Okay? So if you miss any class, okay? If you miss anything, okay? Then you can search my YouTube channel by my name, my full name, Hyunsung Kang on my YouTube, okay? And then you will find my the recordings on my channel, okay? So use any technology, okay? Why not? Okay? So I'm gonna upload all the recordings, okay, after class. So if you miss, by any reason, if you miss anything, just use it, okay? All right. So the last time we talked about the design of this class, and this time we want to start this class with my research. Huh, my research. I assume that you already read this paper. Okay? Scientific celebrity competition and knowledge creations: the case of stem cell research in South Korea. Let me ask this: how do you say your understanding level? Like a 5-point scale. So 5 is perfect understand, 1 is not good, and something like that.
I would probably put it at like a 3.5, 4. I don't remember statistics as much as I probably should.
Okay, no problem. Okay, wow, it's good. Marshall says 4, Jesse 4.5, Molly 3, Courtney 3.5, Noah 3.5. Okay, that's pretty good numbers. Okay, all right. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, we're gonna talk about this paper. Okay, I know everything about this paper because I am the author. Okay, so don't worry. I'm gonna give you some points. Then your understanding level will increase. Okay, so probably there are 2 parts: the story part, the theory part, okay, and numbers. Okay, probably the theory part will be easier. Okay, to understand it, but numbers. Don't worry. I'm gonna explain. We need to talk about this number part because you need to be an expert in the business field. Okay, you need to understand the regressions. Okay, multiple regressions. You don't need to understand everything about the multiple regression, but you need to understand how to read the table. Okay, like your refrigerator. Okay, you don't need to understand everything about your refrigerator, the mechanisms, right? Frame gas and some generators, whatever, something like that. But you need to understand how to open the door, how to put the food, okay? How to retrieve the food from the refrigerator, okay? Exactly the same thing, all right? So let me talk about the multiple regressions. Probably you can remind what you learned from your business statistics. Okay, let's talk about that. Scientific celebrity. Good. This paper was got a lot of attentions in the academia. Okay? That's why this paper was published in reputational journals. Okay? So probably we will talk why. Okay, what is the attraction of this paper very soon. Okay, so the title of the paper: Scientific Celebrity Competition and Knowledge Creation. The case of stem cell research in South Korea. Did I tell you I am originally from South Korea? Seoul, South Korea? Yes. Okay, good. Oh, I know this guy actually. I am making an individual contest with this, the main, main character of this story, Dr. Wang. Okay. All right. So let's start. Let's start with two questions. Okay? I assume you already read that. Okay. So the first question is, what is the story about? Okay. And please share the story with your team. Okay. For this question, I want you to meet with your teammates. Okay. So team discussions. Okay. Share everything you understand from this paper. Okay. Help each other to increase your understanding level. Okay. It can be theory, hypothesis, or whatever, numbers. If you can help your teammates, please do so. All right? And then the second question is, discuss this paper, whatever topics in this paper. Discuss this paper in the framework of two fundamental strategies: reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Okay? It is very, very open question. Okay? These two fundamental strategy is the basic idea, the core idea of strategy management and innovation management too. Okay? So apply this study, whatever subtopics of this paper, into the framework of this strategy. Reduce cost, increase product differentiation. All right? Very, very open question. All right? Clear? Any question? Okay, then I will create breakout rooms for your team meetings. How many? 4 rooms, and I will give you 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. And okay, now please go ahead and meet with your teammates in our breakout rooms. So team 1, go to breakout room number 1. Team 2, room number 2. Team 3, room number 3. Team 4, room number 4.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
right. Welcome back. Okay. So how was the discussion? It was okay? Great, great. So this is how we will work. Okay? Team discussions. Okay? Great. Let's talk about that. All right. So what is the story about? The first question. What is the story about? Please share the story with your team. Okay. Who is gonna start? All right. What is the story about? Just tell us what you discussed with your team. Anyone?
I could go, unless Molly, you want to go.
All right.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go first.
Okay, so we talked about how, like, the difference between the scientific celebrity and the scientific, or the star scientist, and also how scientific celebrities allow more people or help more people get into the field because more people want to do that kind of science, which also, because a scientific celebrity can get like more funding and stuff like that. I think on page 31, it talks about President Barack Obama responded by altering NASA's budget by presenting Hawking with a presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009. So not only did he get recognition, he was a scientific celebrity and people recognized him, but he also increased funding, which helped a lot of the scientific community that was in that field because he was able to get more research equipment and stuff like that. So we kind of just talked about like how it lowered entry barriers for new people going into the field. There was more funding and that they were very popular. So it helped get more people that had not considered being in that field.
All right, great, Jesse. Thank you so much. It's a really fantastic summary. Okay? So that's good. All right. Any other point you want to add up? Anyone?
I thought Jesse summed it up pretty well, but just to add to that, it was a lot of compare and contrast between the two of like seeing the correlation in there of just whether it is like the difference between a star scientist and a celebrity scientist and just seeing how they kind of play off one another. And we talked a lot about that.
All right, great. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Molly. You guys are great. Okay. Anything else? Right. Actually, when I started this project, it was a very, very simple question. Very, very simple question. Okay? So we have some scientific celebrities, like who have, public fame. So my question was really crude. Okay? I just asked, they are good or not for society? They're good or not? So I had two possibilities. The first possibility is, all right, they have public fame. So many people are interested in their work. So some people get into the field like a young scholars, okay? And then do some works. And then, the scientific discoveries increased. Okay? Then it's good. Okay? But in other way, if a scientific celebrity use his fame and then monopolize the resources which should be invested in that field, okay? Then other people actually do not have an opportunity to do research. Okay? A scientific celebrity monopolize it. Okay? Then actually a scientific celebrity can hinder and block other scientists' research activities. Okay? I was just wondering about that. Okay? Very, very crude question. Then I had no answer, of course. Then I asked this question for many people around me, okay, scholars. Hey guys, do you have a good sense about this question? That is a very simple question, but I don't have any clue about that. Then nobody was answered. Probably it can be, but we don't have any answer, something like that. Then I was working on it. Okay, it's a good question. All right. Then I started to work on, but to have good empirical setting, research setting, I used a case of scientific celebrities. Dr. Woo-Seok Hwang, who is the biologist, scientific celebrity in South Korea. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay. So the first thing was, many people was interested in this taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy. Look at this. These guys. Who is it?
Albert Einstein.
Oh yes. Okay, it's famous. Who is it?
Stephen Hawking.
Yes, Stephen Hawking. And who is it?
Thomas Edison.
Yeah, Thomas Edison. GE. Right? These guys, you already know these guys. They are so famous. You know who this is? Probably not. This guy? No. This guy? No. Actually, these guys are extraordinary performing researchers. Okay? David Koo, Georgia Tech guy, liquid engineering, I guess, and Edelman, medicine, MIT, and Frank Rodman, Georgia Tech, management. They are my co-authors. All right, they are my co-authors. They are excellent researchers, but they do not have public fame. Okay, so scientific celebrity do not have. Scientific celebrities are different from just extraordinary researchers. Okay, scientific celebrities can use their public fame. Okay, so based on this taxonomy. Okay. Based on this taxonomy, I want to test my hypothesis. My hypothesis was simple. Scientific celebrities can, have a probably positive role, but I was not sure. Okay, is it positive, negative? No, I was not sure. Then, to test this, I have hypotheses like this. Okay? Hypothesis 1 is, I'm not sure, but my hypothesis is that scientific celebrity can increase the number of people who get into the field, okay? Because they have a public fame and more people get interested in it. Okay, that is my hypothesis. Then hypothesis 2 is scientific celebrity using their public fame. More and more people are interested in it, then they can increase public research funding in that field. All right. So these are two hypotheses. And if scientific celebrity is working like this, and scientific celebrity pretty much, it can increase scientific discoveries by other scientists because it increased new entries, it increased public research funding. So probably for the society, scientific celebrity can increase the knowledge in that field. Okay? That was my 3 hypotheses. Okay? And to test this, I used a simple, econometric techniques with Dr. Woo-Seok Hwang's case. He was so famous in South Korea. His research actually showed that he replicated he replicated a lamb for the first time. Okay, a lamb using the stem cell technology. All right. So imagine it. Think about that. If he can replicate a lamb using his stem cell technology, actually he can replicate almost everything. Like you, yeah? He replicated if he has your stem cells. Okay? It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Okay? Then the problem is, okay? So he published some research papers in Science and Nature, and many people were so fascinated. And then it was a problem that young researchers in South Korea, okay, raised some issues. Hey, look, his research. I understand what you're saying, but in his research there are some inconsistent things, okay, and some it can be faked. All right. Then actually it turns out he manipulated the pictures. Okay? So actually it was nothing. All right. This is a very, very interesting case. So think about it. Scientific celebrities usually the emergence of scientific celebrities and keep continuing, keep going the status. But in this case, think about that, the emergence and falling, rising and falling. Okay, so it is a really, really good setting to look at the effect of scientific celebrities, right? Rise, fall. Then I can observe both sides. Okay, so I started with this case. Right? Oh, this is the guy, Dr. Huang. Okay, he is in Russia right now. Okay, it's not happy these days, but anyway, he is continue working on this stem cell research. Okay, all right. So to test this, I collect some data. Right? Then this was really interesting. This simple graph. Look at this. His fame was starting from around here, 1999. And his fame was totally destroyed 2006. Yeah, here. And this line is the number of patents applied in the stem cell research field. Okay, discoveries. So for the first time, when I was thinking about this, okay, his fame increased and totally destroyed at this point. So this line probably should be go up, but at this point it goes down. That's what I expected. Okay? Because he just totally destroyed. And the field should be collapsed at the same time. But look at this, 2006. It increased drastically the number of patents applied in that stem cell research. Wow, this is interesting. What happened? So many people were fascinated with this. Look at this. It is very interesting. Then, based on these numbers, I have very solid statement. A scientific celebrity can increase or can ignite an industry. Even his fame is collapsed. That industry continue to expand. Very interesting. Very interesting. So he can contribute to create or expand the industry for the first time, but some years later, he cannot control it. It does not affect it. Okay. Wow, this is good. This is very interesting finding. Okay. And then I also use some data to test my hypothesis. All right, this is a multiple regression tables. You should understand. Okay, again, you don't need to understand everything about the regression, but you need to read the tables, because when you go up in your organizations, you become an expert in organizations, you will have a more and more chance to face these tables, regression tables. Okay, so to remind you, okay, your statistics, econometrics. Okay. Regression table, regression is one dependent variable and multiple independent variables. So regression is looking at how these independent variables impact a dependent variable. Okay? So first thing, you should identify what is my dependent variable here. Dependent variable here. Okay? These are separate models. So number 1, 2, 3. Okay? And number 4. Okay, look at this. Focus on this. So we just focus on just one model. All right? One model. Because these models are separated from each other. Okay? So in this, there are many types of regressions. Okay? So you don't need to understand all of these types, but the basic things. So dependent variable is new entries. This variable. Okay? And this is the number of people, number of scientists who get into the field dually. Okay? Right? And this is your dependent variable. So this dependent variable is impacted by these independent variables, multiple independent variables. Okay? And the focus, the variables of interest are Huang's news and Huang's patent in this model. Huang's news is number of newspaper articles discussed Dr. Huang, and Huang's patent is number of patents applied by Dr. Huang and his colleagues. Okay? And other variables are control variables. We say control variables because this dependent variable can be impacted by some other factors. Okay? We control this one. The variables of interest is our independent variables. All right? So far, so good? Any question so far? All right. Please say no if you don't have any question. I want to make sure. All right, great. So now, this dependent variable is impacted by Huang's news and Huang's patents. These are regression coefficients. Okay. Positive and stars over there, and significant statistically. Okay, positive and significant. This one, Huang's patent too, positive and significant. That means these two variables impact positively and significantly the due entries. Got it? Okay. Why we care this result? Because Huang's news and Huang's patents is a fame, his fame, and new entries, number of scientists. So go back to this hypothesis. Hypothesis 1. The emergence of scientific celebrity can impact positively the number of new entry of scientists in the field. Right? So this positive and significant impact support my hypothesis 1. Okay, so far so good. And based on this, I use the new entries T1. That means the next year new entries. The next year, new entries in the next year. Okay, then this was also positive and significant. And T2 means the following year. Positive and significant. Oh, and this, Huang's news, Huang's patent improve new entries in that year, in the next year, in the following year. Okay, these numbers. These are what these numbers are talking about. So my first hypothesis is supported. Okay? And then my second hypothesis, public research funding. So these models, look at this, government funding, the amount of government funding at T. Then Wang's news and Wang's patents, positive and significant. Government funding, T plus 1, positive and significant regression coefficients, T plus 2. So again, positive impact. All right. Then these numbers, these models support hypothesis 2. Okay. Then there are several ways to test hypothesis 3, but I have chosen scientific celebrity increase knowledge creation by other scientists directly. Okay. To test this, look at this. Wang's news, Wang's patents, competitors' patents. Competitor means other people. Okay, other people. And Wang's news, Wang's patents, okay, positive and significant. T plus 1, T plus 2. Okay, these are just the robust test used little different techniques, but same result. Okay, so hypothesis 3 is also supportive. All right. So based on these results, 3 hypotheses are supported. So what this story implies, okay? So are we better off by having scientific celebrities in our society? Yes. They increase number of people, they increase research funding, they increase the scientific discoveries, okay, discovered by other people. And also, in the business perspective, managers and policymakers may need to perceive the emergence of scientific celebrities as an indication of imminent radical changes to the technological and managerial environment. We see that the number of patents increase. Okay, this is pretty much about the story of the paper. Okay, now let me ask you. Now, what is the level of understanding? What is the level of understanding at this point about this paper? Wow, that's good. All right, great. Whew, now I'm relaxed. Okay, nice. Okay. All right, so now I assume that you don't know everything about the regression, but you know how to read the regressions. Okay, so actually you cannot do multiple regressions, but you can understand what they are saying. That's enough. You don't need to be a statistician. Okay, you will be a business leader. Okay, so you can absorb some information from the multiple regressions. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Wow, it's good. I love it. Now we can talk about the second question. All right, discuss this paper in the framework of two fundamental strategies: reduce cost and increase product differentiation. There are many answers possible. So who's gonna start? Anyone? So tell us what you discussed with your team.
Our team had discussed a couple of different sides of it. So, I mean, we had discussed about how just like a marketing strategy is to have a celebrity representative, basically. And so, definitely there are aspects of product differentiation present, but also as new technology comes out, older technology, even if it's much better, what was the previous standard becomes a lot cheaper. So there is definitely aspects of cost being driven down and product differentiation.
Great discussions. There is a terminology that is Matthew effect. Matthew effect. Matthew effect means the if you have the some public fame or some recognition already, then your performance will be evaluated higher and higher, something like that. Okay? So probably your discussions is consistent with the Matthew effect. Okay? Good. So you can reduce cost in terms of marketing. All right. You can also increase product differentiations. Okay? We talked about that already. Many people get into this field, then better product, better service, something like that. All right. Thank you, Emily. And who else? What did you discuss?
We talked. One of the things we talked about was how the the actual quality of the research and whatever products they were developing were drastically increasing. At least we assumed they would, just based off of the amount of research going into it, and based off of the amount of competition in that particular field as well. That would be driving the quality to increase.
All right, great. Good discussions too. Okay. So I don't have anything to add up, but in this paper, I am not talking about the ethics of research. All right, I'm not talking about it. Okay? Ethics of research, there can be many topics, but I just want to highlight it. I just wanted to highlight how a scientific celebrity can work. Okay? All right, good. Marsha, thank you so much. Who else?
My group talked about kind of similar to what everybody else was saying about there's less of like an entry barrier, then there's going to be more people there, and the more people that are doing research in the field, there's going to be an increase in product differentiation because there's more people and therefore more ideas. And then with a scientific celebrity, they're going to bring more money possibly into the field through funding, government funding or private sector funding. And then that means that it's going to reduce cost within that field because they're getting more funding, as long as the scientific celebrity doesn't monopolize his or her funds.
All right, thank you. All right, so pretty much we have consensus about the efficiency and effectiveness of scientific celebrities at this point. Okay, good, Jesse. Thank you so much. Okay. Any other points? Any other points? Any other comments you want to add up? Okay, if you don't have any other comments, I want to conclude these discussions. Okay, and you guys are great. Okay, you guys are great. You do have a lot of high level of understanding. Also, you have a good sense about why I present this paper into the framework of reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Okay? All right. So, science, even science, can be can be observed, can be seen in the framework of reduce cost, increase product differentiations, because this is a value. This is how to create value. Okay, so we are talking about the innovation management. It's a science. It's a technology. Whatever. Why do you care? Because science, innovations, technology can reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Why do you care about Dr. Huang? Because it can reduce cost, it can increase product differentiations. Why do we care about innovation? Same thing. Okay? All right. So this semester, we will talk about how actually technology, a little bit details. Okay? The fundamental idea is exactly this one. Technology can reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Okay? All right. This is pretty much about today's meeting. Any final comments, questions, whatever? All right, again, great. I love your discussions. I love your activities. Okay? I love your performance. Okay? So, the next meeting on Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, we will talk about one more paper, right? Okay, what paper is it? Yes, startups financing strategy. Okay, so next time we are going to talk about financing strategy too. Okay, small companies financing strategy. Then you will have a better sense. Oh, this is how the innovative corporation, innovative company can grow. Okay. All right. So before we go, any question, comment? All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you on Tuesday. Okay? Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Kong.
Thank you. Thank you.